Hello friends, Rick from Numa Yoga. Have another amazing somatic practice for you today, friends. Today I want to focus on the hips. Now, hips can be a real pain in the butt, like literally, right? They can also be a pain in our low back. And this pain can actually just radiate anywhere throughout the body, right? Because everything is connected. So when we have hip pain, this no doubt causes pain in the spine and instability. It can affect our gait and essentially the way that we conduct our life. So how can we start to clear this up? Well, for today's class, I would like you to have a strap. Now, I have this elastic strap. These are great for working with your hips. But if you have like a tie or a belt, maybe an old martial arts belt, anything like that you could just wrap around your foot to support your leg. All right. Also, obviously, I have socks on. Purposefully, right? Purposefully. So for this class, friends, if you have a surface that your leg can slide on, this will help your leg and your hip glide. Okay, so we want something like that. So, and also a pillow, something to support one leg so we can focus on the other leg and let one just be at rest. So those three things: a strap, something that's soft to glide your feet on, and a pillow or a bolster, anything like that. So hit that pause button, grab the pieces that you need for this practice, friends, and then we'll get started. You can join me laying long on the mat. And you can just have those prompts accessible next to you, right? We're going to start out first laying long with our Soma scan. So let yourself come to rest. Now, if this is hard, or not hard, but if this is a little bit of tension in your low back, it might be difficult to lay like this. You could grab that pillow and place it under your knees, or you could just bend the legs and have the soles of the feet down. But I am just meeting yourself where you're at. Find some comfort and some stillness, right, as we start to shift into our practice. Now, as you rest here, I want you to focus on your heels. As you start to center here into this space, into this present moment, what do your heels feel like? Notice where the pressure's at. Where does the weight of your leg rest in your heel? You could notice how your toes are pointed out or in, and compare and contrast similarities and differences. Maybe the left side feels a little more shifted out than the right, or vice versa. The weight feels different. Maybe the temperature is different. Anything you can sense and feel. Is one side larger in your awareness? Your eyes are closed and you're just trying to feel your legs. Maybe one side feels larger than the other. Maybe when you breathe in, you feel one side of your body more. I notice right now that as I breathe in, my right side feels a little tighter, especially as my breath reaches down towards my right leg. My left side feels like there's more flow. Just sense and feel what you can notice in your body in this moment, without judgment, right? Without that need to fix or change anything. You're just being that observer. And then what's it like to just observe, to sit back and sense, to feel what's going on within you? Allowing yourself to slow down and start to navigate your inner landscape. Good. And then traveling up the legs, you can feel what your knees are like. Is that similar side to side? Do the muscles around the knees feel the same? You could gently shift or bend that space. How about your femurs and the muscle, the tissue around your femurs? Do you feel tension in the same place? Fronts of the legs or the backs of the legs or on the sides? Inside, outside, top and bottom. And then your glutes and your hips, where the weight of the tops of these legs are in the floor, and the pelvis. You can notice side to side here what is right and left feel like. Sometimes we are shifted a little bit one direction, or it might feel like one leg's longer, or one hip's pulled up. We carry all these imbalances in this space. This is our center of gravity. And it can be twisted or shifted in all kinds of directions. So we want to clear this up so we stand balanced and centered. Right? When we are balanced in this space, then our spine grows tall and long, but our legs will also ground down straight. And this will allow our posture to be where it needs to be. Okay, so now you're just kind of noticing where you're at. Let's all bend our legs now and point the knees towards the ceiling, soles of the feet on the floor. We're coming into constructive rest here, effortless rest. You have your arms out at your side. Make any adjustments that you need to make so that you're in comfort and there's not like your clothes bothering you. There's not something that's steering your attention away from your body in this moment. So you can be as present and as focused as possible, because that's what these somatic exercises really need, is your full awareness. So let's start to let that awareness sink inward, right? Okay, so from here, let's take our hands and you can rest them here on your side waist and just notice the rim of your pelvis and the soft space above it, the waist. And resting your hands here, we're going to go through an arch and flatten. I want you to feel how your pelvis is tipping as you do this. So, with your hands rested on the bone of your pelvis, how would you arch your back? An arch is a lot like the cow, if you're in a table position, if you've done a cat-cow before. This would be arching, so you're tapping your tailbone down to the back, down to the floor, and you're letting your lumbar spine roll into a bridge. It's an anterior tilting of the pelvis, and your low back is engaging to make a bridge. Now you feel that tipping with your hands, and then slowly you can close your eyes, let this relax. And you'll feel that melt and release back down. It might feel very strange, might feel very nice, just to let that go. Good. Do that as slow as you can. Try that a few times. It's like a rolling. You feel your pelvis roll towards your heels as you do this. The tailbone's tapping down, and this is bringing your spine into extension. Feel that engagement in your low back. This is a space we bury a lot of tension in. And we can learn to let that tension relax by releasing here slowly. And observe that melting. Let yourself come to complete ease, total relaxation. And try that one more time when you're ready. This time, as you roll, you tap your tailbone down. Also let your chin tap down. And feel the full length of the back of your spine. Put a little bit of weight of the head into the floor. And then you can relax the head and neck, and like a wave down the spine, you relax the low back. Nice. Let's try the other direction. So the other direction is flexion of your spine, and that requires an abdominal engagement. To do this, there's several layers to your abdominal muscles here. So when you exhale, I want you to first exhale and draw your belly straight down, like you're trying to touch your belly to the spine. That's going to activate the transverse abdominal muscle. So when you exhale, do that. And then like you're going to do a sit-up, you're going to pull the tailbone forward and the ribs will pull down. That's your rectus abdominis engaging. And slowly, slowly, you'll let this go. Now, I moved my hands for this one. You can keep your hands on the side here. If you exhale, and you can feel it's a posterior tilting of the pelvis, right? It's like rolling the pelvis backward and the tailbone scoops up. Try to avoid pressing with your feet or with your legs here. See if it can be all with your core. So we want to train our core muscles to be moving this, right? If our rectus abdominis, if our ab muscles here get tense, they tend to pull our ribs down. And this can be pinching to our diaphragm and disrupt our breathing. So we want our abdominal muscles to be nice and long. So when you relax here, you feel that lengthening out. Back to neutral at another time. Exhale, belly draws down, and you're scooping the tailbone up. This time, point your chin towards the ceiling. Feel how that sternum draws down. And you'll notice your abdominal wall is very engaged. As slow as you can, let that relax. So feel everything dissolve and lengthen out. 2 times we're going to go back and forth here through that arch and flatten now. So it's an arch of the back, a tailbone tapping down, chin tapping down, slow letting that go. Briefly pausing in neutral, and then you exhale, you scoop the tailbone up, you point the chin up. So nice and slow, we're going through this. You're going to arch the back, tailbone taps down, chin taps down. And then you flatten the back, tailbone scoops up, chin points up. We're just warming up the spine here. This is building your awareness of how you move your spine. So let yourself really tune into this. Because everything, all our movement comes off of this right here. A good, healthy spinal column is what we want to work on first before we start to work on the legs that come off the spine, right? So proximal always before distal. Good. So cleaning up the spinal movement, getting this nice and smooth. So if it's feeling sticky or bumpy, right, we want to go nice and slow so this movement gets really smooth. And that means that we're functioning well using all of our cells, not just the ones we're used to using, but everything, right? We tend to skip by a lot of muscles. And if you're feeling skipping and jumping in there, that's exactly what's going on. You're skipping by muscles, but we're learning to clean it up. Good. Let's change this direction up. So we just tipped forward and backward. Let's move laterally. So this would be like your hips doing a little shimmy here on the floor. And again, let's have our hands on the side. And so it'll be this shimmying movement, just like this. So how do we do this? How would you, with your hand on your left hip, how would you hike the left hip up towards your armpit? Your right hip will draw down away. You feel that engagement up in your left waist? Slowly let that go. And then how would you do that to the right side? One thing you can think about here, friends, is that your tailbone is pointing straight through your feet. If you swivel to point your tailbone towards your right foot, notice how that hikes the hip up. Back to center. Try that to the other side. Can you swivel the tailbone to the left foot? And side to side. So it's almost like a pendulum swinging the base of the spine. And it hikes each hip up. And we want to move through this really smooth. So everything is relaxed in the body. The arms, the chest, the feet. It's just the pelvis tilting side to side, lateral flexion. Notice side to side. Good. And now you can just add on a little bit. So when you hike your left hip up, let your head roll to the left. When you come back to center, the nose comes back to center. And then the nose spills off to the right as the right hip hikes up. And you're letting yourself make a little C curve. So your spine is gently engaging on one side. Maybe you feel this through the ribs as your head spills to the side. Can you squeeze into those ribs? And then slowly let that side go. When you roll over to the right hip hikes up. And can you engage into your ribs? That'll pull the arm down. And then you slowly let that go. So you're trying to engage into your side body. It's just a squeeze, right? Can you squeeze into your left ribs when you go to the left as you draw the left hip up and let that relax? Good. Okay, so now that we've got this spine warmed up, we're going to take, if you have a pillow, you're going to place it down under your right leg and let your right leg go long. Your left leg is just going to stay right here where it's at. And we're going to start to move this knee in and out, just a few inches. Now, the key to this here is to let your eyes be closed. Move as slow as you can and as consciously as you can. But I want you to think about only moving from deep in your hip, so the top of your femur. If you could just even forget about the rest of your leg, all you have is a femur bone here, right? How could you move that a few inches to the inside? So let your eyes be closed and bring your leg inward. And now as slow as you can, bring that to point straight back up. How slow and how smooth can you do this? It might feel very challenging. You might feel other spaces in your body actually gripping to help balance or stabilize you. Try going just a few inches to the outside. Opening the knee up just a little, eyes closed. This isn't about range of motion, it's about control in the subtle, slow movement. And then back in. So just a couple inches in and out. What I want you to do here is to focus into this space of the hip. Can you feel what's going on in your hip? What can you sense? If you took a magnifying glass here, what would it look like? Looking deeply into this space. In and then out, noticing all those subtle bumps, how heavy this leg is. Maybe it's difficult to control. Can you even hear? Can you hear the creaking like a door hinge as it slowly opens up? Maybe you can feel just a little bit of that gripping or dryness. What we're doing here by going this slow is you're trying to massage into this joint, just like a mortar and pestle. And you're getting the synovial fluid to kind of wake back up. And we're just stirring around. Good. So now we're going to let this open up, and this is where we're going to start sliding the leg. So we're going to invite a little bit bigger of a movement in here. I want you to let the knee open up now to the side. So let the knee spill open. And as it goes to what it's comfortable opening, then you let the leg slide long, nice and slow. Slide the leg long. When it's long, I want you to roll the whole leg bone like it's a rolling pin inward. And it rolls the hip up. Can you roll the hip up off the mat? And turn your head to the left. So my left hip rolls up. I look to the left. Now here, where that hip's up, slow, let that relax down. Let that melt down. Open up. Unroll. Feel your hip joint rolling. And now, when your leg opens back up, so the pinky toes turning towards the floor, slide the leg back up. Slide it up. Sliding the knee back up, floating the knee back towards the ceiling, and then open back up. So a few times just like that, you're going to open the leg nice and slow. The weight of the leg when you go slow is opening that up, opening up the inner thigh. And then you slide the leg long. All the way long, nice and long, then roll the leg in, roll your leg in. See if you can roll that hip up off the floor. Turn your head to the left so you get this little twist in your body. Nice and slow, let that twist relax. Head comes back to center. Leg rolls open. And then again, slide, open the foot, slide the leg up. Bring the knee up to point towards the ceiling. And then when you open, the weight of the leg opens up. And then slide long, slide long. Good. Rolling in. Last time to roll in. Open. Slide the leg up. Good. You can slide that leg back down and take a pause. Okay, maybe roll that leg. Notice how that feels through your hip right now. Are you getting some space? Is that opening up this hip for you? And we're going to stay working with this leg, all right? We're really going to focus on this side, and then we'll compare it to the other side. We'll notice the difference. All right. Grab your strap. It could be anything, right? Like a belt, a tie, one of these nice elastic straps. I really highly recommend having one of these. And you're going to bring it around your foot. All right? We're going to bring this foot straight up into the air. And what we're going to do here first, right, is like this long rolling pin. You're going to roll the leg bone in and out. So keeping the leg long, roll from your femur, right? How do you roll your femur in? And how do you roll it open? So keep that nice, long, and straight. Try that a few times, turning in. Feel this here in the socket. Can you feel the acetabulum turning? Feel that femur rolling. Good. Open up. Learn to use tissues that you don't use by reactivating them, by waking back up. Nice. Now from here, let's make some circles. So can you draw a circle on the ceiling with your foot from your hip? You can imagine your leg as a paintbrush here, and you're painting the ceiling with a tiny circle. And you can go nice and slow and make a very subtle circle and let that spiral open if it's feeling good. But you're not controlling with the band. You're just de-weighting the leg with the band. You're supporting the leg, but the movement is, the focus comes from deep. Good. Change direction. What's it like to change your direction? What direction did you start in? And I started going counterclockwise. So that could be something interesting to notice, which direction you always start with. And maybe just be curious about why. Okay. Do something interesting now. Maybe a figure eight or an infinity sign or a sine wave. Gonna make that across the ceiling, right? Like a horizontal line, or maybe you want to make a vertical line. Just kind of play around here, explore your hip. But don't force it. Don't go way outside to force your range of motion. This is just about playing inside your range of motion so that you don't offend the hip in any way, but we're just massaging the joint. We want to get the fluid moving and this muscle's woken up and not causing any stretch reflexes. Good. You can bend the knee now. Let the knee flex and extend, like squeeze The heel down, straighten the leg, squeeze it down. So now you're getting into your hamstrings, at least this lower part of the hamstring. You can bring the leg long and up. Drop the heel down, float it up. Now you're getting into the top of the hamstring. Good. All right. Point and flex the toes, roll the ankle so that we get this last joint on the leg, a little bit of a massage at the ankle, squeezing the toes. Roll the ankle. Good. Move the foot in any way that feels good to you. All right. And now here, we can remove the band from the foot, let the leg go long. Remove the pillow from the other leg, and now feel the difference from side to side. Notice your left hip compared to your right. Your left leg might feel completely different than your right leg does. I know mine feels much cleaner, much clearer, more flow, more space, for sure. Awesome. Just take a moment to rest and notice. Let the eyes be closed. Breathe down towards your hips. Slow, slow, slow breaths through the nose. Belly drawing the breath in. Nice and easy. Throughout our practice too, friends, we always want to be keeping that subtle reminder, that just faint awareness of our breath. Breathing through the nose, mouth closed, down low and slow. This is the most important part of our practice. Good, efficient breathing, nice and slow. It's a good indicator too, if your breath is bracing or if you're noticing any breathing difficulties, that's a sign that this is a place the body needs to focus at, because if it's challenging to breathe, that means it's really challenging to move there. So notice, that's a great time to notice that. Let's have the strap just ready to go, but we got the left leg now. I bolstered up my left leg. I got my strap here relaxed, ready to rock. And my right leg now is up. And we're just going to do these small movements to start out with this right leg. And notice now, what is it like to move this side? As you start to just stir this a few inches in and a few inches out. Now, when we focus on just this little movement, right? The foot's rested on the floor and the knees just tracking in towards midline and slowly moving out. This is a really challenging move. It's interesting how hard it is to move this big leg bone slowly. And remember, just envision your femur bone here, okay? And it's stirring inside this hip socket deep, like it's in a bowl. And it's moving left and right, just like that mortar and pestle. And the more you move this slowly, the more you lubricate that joint. Focus your awareness into this pocket where your femur attaches to your torso. Can you hear any noises here? You might be able to listen in to that faint, subtle cracking sensation, or like a door creaking. Maybe you could just gently feel the vibrations of that. This is a big joint. And you're just trying to feel into some subtle sensations in here as you wake up. We're just waking up some of these deeper deeper rotational muscles. Okay. So now we can start to let this leg open all the way. Let that leg open up, knee opens towards the floor, and you can slide. Let your leg melt and slide long. When it goes long, remember, roll this leg bone in like it's a rolling pin and feel the right hip lift up off the floor. Let your nose gaze turn to the right. Feel how your hips lifted up? Can you slowly bring that down to the floor? And just what does that feel like to let your leg melt down? Turn your head to the left as you roll the leg open and then slide that up. So you'll feel the inner thigh as you slide that up. Maybe even the glute engages, and then melts that back down. Leg slides long. Leg bone rolls in. Relax the leg bone back and forth. This is just like a massage to your hip socket, a massage to the muscles of the legs that do this movement. We're teaching them to be at ease here, to open up. Not only that, but you're learning, right? You're learning how to use all the muscle fibers of your body. By going slow, we can't skip. By going slow, we can't use the muscle memory highway. We're waking up everything. We're making all cells the new muscle memory highway, right? Not skipping by anything. When we get all our cells nice and fluid in alignment, then our body is in this more positive state of energy. We use less, we're more efficient. This makes our lives more efficient. Right? We're cleaning up in here to do good work out there. For sure. Nice. Okay, one more time, friends. Nice and slow. No rush. There's never any rush here. This is an enjoyable practice, right? You're just enjoying moving your joints, connecting to your muscles, feeling your body. Sense of peace and calm here. Awesome. Okay, next time we bring our leg up, let's grab that strap. I'm going to bring that strap around your foot. And right, float that foot up towards the ceiling. Support your leg here. And a few times, right, nice and long, nice long leg bone. Roll like a rolling pin. It might feel really skippy or jumpy. Might be difficult to control, but that's just fine. That's just fine. That's exactly why we're doing these movements. So you can clean that up. So we get rid of that unconscious tension and we can get rid of that pain. So our hips move nice and fluid. Nice. Rotating in, stirring out. Good. Feel that leg bone rolling? Where do you notice it in your body? All right, now let's move into doing some circles. So let yourself circle. So drawing a circle with your femur, right? If your femur was just drawing this circle, the toes, the feet, that's just the end of the paintbrush. They're just along for the ride. Light hold in the strap. You're just supporting the leg. You can spiral that circle out, make it a little wider. Remember to notice if your breath is bracing in any way, or maybe you're breathing a little hard. Make sure to breathe light. Keep your breath soft. That'll keep your awareness more in tune. Our breath is the key, friends. That is what keeps our mind calm, our body relaxed. It is the bridge between the two. Okay. And then move into some more playful movements. So maybe making a figure 8 or an infinity sign. You could go around in zigzags or any movement that feels good here. Any movement that's in a place that feels in the right space for you. If something feels interesting, maybe spend some time there. Move around consciously through it. Right? Good, focused, connected movement. When you feel complete with that, you can flex, bend the knee a few times. Not straining your knee either, right? We don't want to strain our joints. We want to move them in their comfortable range of motion. This way they can start to clean up and that range of motion will expand over time. But if we are trying to force our joints into length, then we're just going to end up offending them. So we really want to take good care of these joints. One thing you could also do outside of here, friends, is sesame oil. Cold pressed sesame oil massaged into your joints. Do that daily. Especially as we start to age, it'll help keep you lubricated and juicy. Good. All right. Then you could point the toes, roll the ankles. Any interesting movement you want to do through your legs here, please do. We could also go long. Bring that up. You could go in and out. But remember, it's controlled movement. It's not letting the weight thrust on the leg and bounce around. It is controlled. All right. Let's let this leg go along. You can remove the strap. The other leg's bolster. Now feel these legs. Notice how the hips feel. Let's do this fun practice with our legs long here. It's called winking and blinking. So your glute muscles, right? We often don't spend too much awareness or time focusing on our glutes. So how would we blink our glutes? So blinking, just like the name implies, both eyes closing, we can think of that as both glutes contracting. So can you blink your glutes? Can you contract both glutes? And how slow can you let go of both glute muscles? Nice and easy. You could do as I'm doing. So when you exhale, you can engage your glutes and close your hands in like a fist. So you feel your glutes engage and feel your fists engage kind of simultaneously. And as you let your hands soften, very slowly can you let your glutes match that. You might notice that they want to splash out, they want to drop out, they're sputtery, and they might be doing all kinds of stuff, dancing around, right? Nice and smooth. We often don't think about our glute muscles, so let's wake them up a little bit. One more time, squeeze into both glutes, blink. And let that go, let that go, let that go. Good. Our glute muscles really wrap around and work as external rotators for our hips. So we want to be smart in our glutes here for sure. Now, let's try winking. And so wink is one eye, right? Let's wink one glute so you can keep one hand open and engage the other one. Squeeze that glute. You pick any side you want. Slow, you let go of that wink. And you wink to the other side. So side to side engaging the glutes. Go slowly. You'll feel how this tips your hips, right? One will lift up as you get firm and relax. Side to side. Kind of a fun exercise, really. Peering into some muscles of our back body, back into them glutes. Good. Couple more times. Nice. Okay. Let's bring both feet up. And we'll finish this practice with this bloom and budding movement of an arch and flatten. So we want to connect this hip movement back to our spine so that legs, spine work synergistically together. So how do they do that? Well, when we flatten our spine, right? When we flatten the belly, if you exhale, flatten the belly, scoop the tailbone up, feel how the legs want to draw in together. Let your knees come in together here. When you let that go, do you feel your knees relaxing back out to the midline or back out to center as your belly lets go? And if you arched your back, right, if you rolled your pelvis towards your heels, do you feel how your legs want to open up? So then move into that a little more consciously. When you let that go, the knees go back to center, the spine goes back to center. And flatten, bring the knees in. So you're feeling how naturally when our spine flexes, our knees in or our thighs internally rotate. And when our spine goes to neutral, our hips go to neutral. When our spine is stuck in extension, our hips are stuck in external extension. Are you seeing this? Are you feeling this? Good. Let's learn how to move through that. So swim through that. Flatten knees together. Open up knees. Open up back arches. Let's bring our shoulders into this. If your thighs, if your hips are getting into that and it's feeling good, our shoulders might want to play along too. So this next time that your knees open and you arch your back, open your palms to the ceiling, press your shoulders back, tap your chin down. Slowly, slowly, slowly let all that go. Feel your shoulders relaxing. Oh, that feels amazing. Back to center. Bring the knees in, flatten the belly, roll the palms down and lift the shoulders up. Point the chin to the ceiling. Arms are noodles, it's just the shoulders that floated off the floor. Relax the shoulders, relax the chin, spine, knees. And then open up. So you open the knees, open the palms, press the shoulders back, arch the back, chin taps down. Feel your front body just opening up. Release, release, release. Knees come back, shoulders relax. Back to midline, you feel center. And can you feel yourself close up? So when you exhale, belly flattens down, shoulders float off the floor, your chest engages. It's like your heart's pulling your shoulders in front to protect it. Your knees tap together. So you can feel this is kind of a protective response. This is a shutdown or a fear response. You can slowly let that go. You can let yourself blossom out of that. And let that go. Let yourself come to a strong, neutral spine. Relaxed, calm, peaceful, at ease. And then you could open that up. You could press the shoulders back, palms open. Activate the back of the spine, knees open. You might feel that energy to go do, to be here. This can be overdoing. This can be stressful. This is the fight or flight mechanism of the spine. Slowly you can let that go. You let yourself come back to center. At a deeper layer, this is what our body's going through. When we flatten, right, and we squeeze our front body, it's almost like we're pulling ourselves right into that fetal position, right, where we feel safe, protected. Our nervous system sometimes gets stuck here thinking that we're in a state of fear, but we can let that go. Here you can let that go. Soften that. Feel your shoulders melt. And then the other way, let your heart open up. When you draw your shoulders back, you slide your shoulder blades together, you feel your chest open, you let your knees open. And all that tension in your back body now, it dissolves back to center.
Good. One more time each direction. It's a front body handoff to a back body handoff. But we want to find that relaxed middle, that space in the middle where our body's at total ease and in balance. Right, that is what this is about. We want to learn how to live lives that are in balance. Not dull, not overdoing, and this sattvic center that we call in yoga, right? We want to balance out the energy of Rajas and the energy of Tamas and sit in that beautiful center. Good. So you can pause here. Let your legs slide long. You can rest one hand on your chest and one on your belly if you would like, or you can just have your arms down at your side, or maybe even up in these field goal post arms. Just be still. All that subtle work, friends, is actually really challenging work. It's working on a deeper layer. We're working more with the nervous system than we are with the muscular system, and it takes energy, but it also takes some integration. So a moment of pause to just feel. Maybe you made some big changes in your body here. Maybe you really felt your hips relax and release, or got some new movement through your spine. Felt some different spaces in your body. Let your mind become aware of them, or let your mind notice or remember some of those sensations that you felt. And just know that you can come back to this at any time. To keep tuning in more and more, deeper and deeper. Each time there is more benefit. The more you practice, the more you receive. And definitely allow your body to continue to receive this, my friends. You can stay here as long as you would like. Allow yourself to slowly transition into the rest of your day. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, friends. Peace and namaste.